and 5 science fiction from the Black speculative fiction genre. My first fantasy title is Tomi Adeyemi's Children of Blood and Bone. In Orisha, magic has disappeared from the world, and the remaining magi are discriminated against. When Zeli finds a way to bring the magic back to the world, she teams up with an escaped member of the royal family in order to restore it. A debut novel inspired by West African folklore, this novel took the world by storm when it first came out, and a film adaptation is currently in production. Moving from one high fantasy novel to another, I also recommend Raybearer by Jordan Ifueko. In this novel, we follow Tarisai as she is sent to her empire's capital to compete for a spot on the Crown Prince's Council of 11. However, she has been magically compelled to kill the Crown Prince once she gains his trust. The writing and world building in this novel is extremely well done. Readers will love following this story about fighting against fate. Our last young adult fantasy novel on this list is Pet by Akwaeke Emezi. In a world where monsters don't exist, Jam and her friends manage to find one. This story asks the age-old question, what will young people do to save themselves when the adults around them don't believe? While a simple premise, the story is told in a way that is beautiful and haunting to readers. Next is the first in an epic series of books that blurs the line between science fiction and fantasy, the 5th season by N.K. Jemisin. The story follows Essen as she struggles to locate her daughter while the world around her is ending. Civilization is falling, and a red rift, known as the Stillness, is spreading across the earth. The first in a trilogy of books, the story that Jemisin tells is a complex and large in scale, but is a reward to read. A Master of Jinn by P. Jelly Clark is my final fantasy recommendation. Set in an alternate history Cairo, we follow Agent Fatma, a member of the Ministry of Alchemy, Enchantments, and Supernatural Entities, as she is called to solve the murder of a secret brotherhood. On top of that, the perpetrator is causing unrest in the city, which could spill onto the world stage. This novel is a murder mystery mixed with fantasy and steampunk elements. From the beginning of the science fiction recommendations, we have Parable of the Sower by Octavia E. Butler. The story follows Lauren, who is living in a protected enclave following the end of the world. When they are forced to flee the enclave, Lauren leads her people towards a better way of living. Butler was a leading figure in modern science fiction writing, which is why she deserves a spot on this list. Next on the list is An Unkindness of Ghosts by Rivers Solomon. This book takes place on a segregated space vessel that is charting a journey to a mythical promised land. Aster lives on the lower decks of this ship and begins to uncover the secrets about the ship and a possible way off. With parallels to the antebellum South, Solomon's novel discusses the history in the context of a far-off future. From one space opera to another, we have Finti by Nanetti Okorafor. The title character is the first of her people to be invited to join an intergalactic university. She must then use the gifts and knowledge of her people, as well as the new wisdom she has learned, to survive an alien threat. A novella that mixes science fiction with horror, Finti brings a young adult story to this list. We return back to Earth for our next recommendation, Riot Baby by Tochi Onobuchi. This novel follows siblings Kev and Ella, with Ella possessing a powerful gift. When Kev is incarcerated, Ella's anger directs her powers towards revolution and destruction. Onobuchi's work is an intimate story about family, but also about racism and the Black American experience. Our final book is a mix of science fiction and fantasy, Brown Girl in the Ring by Nalo Hopkinson. Set in a dystopian version of Toronto, where the privileged are harvesting the bodies of those who now live in the inner city. It is up to protagonist Tijan to help protect her people by learning the old practices of her family. Grounded in Afro-Caribbean culture and folklore, Brown Girl in the Ring presents a magic realism novel set in a dystopian world. And there you have it, 10 fantasy and science fiction books written by Black authors. Look for more recommendations in our Black science fiction and fantasy collection in the digital library. Happy reading, and we'll see you next time for another Recommended Reads. Goodbye!
Hi, my name is Amanda Bittner, and I'm a professor of political science at Memorial University. When we think about politics, most of us think about the evening news, the things that politicians say to one another, the issues that we are told we ought to care about, and most of us don't pay too much attention to that stuff. Who can keep up with all the complexities and inner workings of policy issues related to energy policy, climate change, taxes, education, food security, poverty, homelessness, healthcare? These are all a lot. We have jobs, we have families, we have hobbies, we have things to do, and we have Netflix to watch. We are told every day that we need to find also some work-life balance and that we should take breaks from social media to do things that are actually good for us. Go for a walk, read a book, play in the snow, have a cup of tea. By taking a break from work, by taking a break from the world, we're able to recharge. Our brains can regenerate and we can feel good again, and maybe we'll get a little bit more productive when we go back to work the next day. And maybe we're a little bit less burned out, a little bit less tired, a little bit less frustrated, and we might have a tiny bit more energy to tackle the important issues of the day. Maybe we see things from a different angle, in a new light, since we've taken a break. I'm here to advocate on the behalf of the book We Jane by Amy Wall. Why then, you wonder, have I just opened with this commentary about politics, the importance of disengaging from the world, and self-care? Because We Jane is a book of fiction. I read it for fun, pretty much in a single evening, because I basically devoured it in my off time. I read it by the fire, under a blanket, while I drank a glass of wine. It was perfection. Self-care, disengagement, putting down my phone, turning off my Twitter, turning off all the noise. I read a book. I study politics for a living. My area of expertise is elections, voting, public opinion, and I've done a lot of research that focuses on gender and politics in particular. I teach political science. I spend a lot of my time thinking about political issues and political processes and the institutions and players in politics, a lot of data. I teach my students about power, about politics, and I try to get them to think about complex political issues from different perspectives that they might not have considered without reading the academic research that I assign to them and writing and thinking that I ask them to do about those things that they just read. I assign interesting stuff that I myself want to read, stuff that pushes me and them to think differently, to think harder, to see new things, and to understand the world as researchers understand it. I read fiction for fun. I read to my kids, I read for myself, I read and I read and I read, and it helps me recharge. What this book, We Jane, helped me to realize, though, was something that probably isn't that novel. And yeah, that was totally a pun. I'm obviously hilarious. This novel helped me to realize that fiction can be political. We Jane is a work of fiction, and it's totally political. So why is that important? It's important to me, not just because I study politics and I care about gender and politics. It's important to me, not just because I want the world to think more about community and what it means to be part of a community, and I want the world to think more about equity and equality and what it means to be part of a feminist society, and I want to raise my kids in a world that will let them live their lives with independence, autonomy, and control over their bodies. We Jane is about abortion. But it's also about so much more than just fetuses and women's bodies. It's about friendship. It's about discovery of oneself. It's about learning about our values, learning to live in a way that fits with our values. It's about heartbreak. It's about belonging. It's about finding our way. It's about community. It's about strength. It's about what is available to us as citizens and residents of a particular place. It's about Newfoundland and Labrador. It's about what life is like for people here. It's about what life is like for women here. It's about what life is like for women around the Bay here. You should read this book. It's fiction. It's a work of art, and art makes us think about our lives, about ourselves. Well-developed and compelling, nuanced characters get us to think about our lives differently. They get us to look around us and really see things for the first time. See things differently than if we just read about them in the news or in academic research. In my case, this book got me to look around and see politics in art everywhere. It transformed my thinking about my own teaching. It got me to see that maybe, just maybe, assigning only academic journals and academic books written by political scientists, books based on academic research, wasn't the only way to get my students to understand the political world around us. This book made me realize that politics is everywhere and that exploring politics through art could be really transformational for my teaching. That my students and I could explore fiction and think about and talk about politics, about power, about community, and really big public policy issues through the eyes of fictional characters. We, Jane is a book you should read, not because it's about abortion. You should read it because it's a beautiful book filled with rich dialogue, well-developed complex characters, and the stories they tell and the image they weave of real life is important and transformational. And maybe it will help you to disengage from the doom scrolling. Maybe it will help you to see the world in a different light, just like it helped me. It's a beautiful book. You should read it.
My name is Quinn. I'm the Early Literacy Coordinator with Newfoundland and Labrador Public Libraries. Now, November was Picture Book Month. I know there's only a few days left in November, but I couldn't let the entire month pass without sharing a few wonderful Canadian picture book authors. One of my favorite things within my job is to go and share new and exciting picture books with caregivers and children who might not know that they're out there. I find most people know the classics and the authors and illustrators that they grew up with, but there's so many fantastic picture book authors and illustrators out there, and the library is a wonderful place to find your next new picture book author love. The first author is Elise Gravel. Now, Elise was born in Montreal, and she's a graphic designer turned author illustrator. Some of the reasons I love Elise's books is that they're funny and witty, and she takes factual content and concepts and communicates in a way that's really humorous and very accessible. She has lots of books that address social issues, and she also has some titles that deal with insects or animals that maybe we're a little bit afraid of or not as beloved, and puts kind of a fun spin on them. There's all sorts of books she's written in French and also English, and her titles have been translated into a number of different languages. Here are a few titles that might interest you. The first is The Spider. She also has books on headlights, toads, slugs, rat, worm, and fly. Now, her nonfiction books are so much fun because she provides information about, say, the insect or the animal, but her adorable illustrations and kind of humorous approach really makes these enjoyable. She also has a few books in the system, What is a Refugee and Everybody. So again, I had mentioned she writes titles that deal with some different social concepts. These are great titles to check out. The next Canadian author, in this case author-illustrator, that I'd like to talk about is Mike Bolt. Now, he's written and illustrated a number of books, but he's also illustrated a number of books for other authors as well. Some reasons why I love Mike Bolt books is the illustrations. They are fantastic, and his books are often quite interactive and funny. A few titles that might interest you is Bad Dog, about a cat that's expected to be a dog, so obviously is a bad dog. But again, take a look at these fantastic illustrations and kind of tongue-in-cheek, humorous content. One of his newer books is Find Fergus. So this is a really fun interactive book that kind of breaks the third wall. You're finding Fergus throughout, and there's kind of a Where's Waldo list that you can go back through and find different things throughout the pages in there as well. So definitely check out Mike Bolt. The last Canadian author that I'll mention is Monique Smith, and this is a newer to me author. I really enjoyed her books because they have such a wonderful message about kindness and supporting others. So here we have You Hold Me Up, which is a beautiful book, and different ways we can show support and love. And then also When We Are Kind, and a book about kindness. So there you have it, 3 fantastic Canadian picture book authors to check out in these last 2 days of Picture Book Month.
Hi everyone, I'm Miss Jamie from Kindale Library in Stephenville, and we're going to be doing an online story time again today. So we're going to start with our opening song. Join in if you know. We clap and sing hello, we clap and sing hello. With our friends from story time, we clap and sing hello. We stomp and sing hello, we stomp and sing hello. With our friends from story time, we stomp and sing hello. We wave and sing hello, we wave and sing hello. With our friends from story time, we wave and sing hello. Yay! Okay, so let's get right to our book. Today we are going to read I Am Not a Chair by Ross Barak, and today we're reading with permission of HarperCollins Children's Books. Okay, let's get started. I am not a chair. And this book was written for Drew and Todd. And here we go. That's our first page. On Giraffe's first day in the jungle, he felt something wasn't right. Can you spot what's not right? Okay, everybody's sitting around playing ball. Do we see Giraffe yet? No, where's Giraffe? Oh, somebody's sitting on him. Can I share that chair? Chair? I am not a chair. Giraffe knew he needed to clear things up right away. But, splat! Oh, and then what's this guy doing to him up here? Oh, the snake's got his mouth all closed, and he can't breathe over here because of the skunk. He couldn't get the words out. I'm a giraffe. Can't they see? I have spots and ears and eyes and whatever these things are. If they couldn't see the difference, Giraffe would have to show them. So what's he doing here? Oh, it looks like he's building something. He's getting some twigs. Snap, snap, snap. Oh, twist, twist, twist. Clank, clank, clunk. Let's see what he's up to. Now, that's a chair. Looks nothing like me. New friends were already headed his way. Problem solved. Here come the hippos. Oomph, wobble, 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 smash. Oh no, my chair. I'll fix it. This goes here, clunk, clunk, clunk. This goes there, bang, bang, bang. Giraffe's first day could not get any worse. But at least nobody could sit on him now. Oh, Giraffe. Well, so much for nobody sitting on him. While Giraffe looked for a solution, someone was spying on him. Ooh. A human! Surely he'll know who I am. Look at those spots. It's perfect. Uh-oh. Where's he taking Giraffe? Oh, no. Does Giraffe look very happy? I don't think so. And he's leaving. Smartest species. Yeah, right. Enough! I am not a chair. And I'm speaking up to the next animal that I see. Uh-oh. The next animal I see will be my dinner. Even if I have to sit here all night. Oh no, what's Giraffe gonna do? Do you think Giraffe will speak up? Let's see. Giraffe wished he could run. He wished he could hide. He wished he wasn't so afraid. No, I need to speak up. I need to be me. And Giraffe couldn't hold it in any longer. I've got to pee. Okay, here goes nothing. Excuse me. Oh. Do you think Lion's gonna eat Giraffe? Let's find out. Ah! Run for your lives! A talking chair! I'm not a chair! I'm a giraffe! And the next day, he told everyone, and everything felt right. Hey, everybody's sitting around again, and oh, where's Giraffe? Look, he's not sitting. He's not being saddled like a chair. Sorry, guys. He's sitting on something, though, isn't he? A chair? Me? Can you believe it? He's sitting on Turtle. The end. That was a good book, wasn't it? So now we have a friend coming. Hi, Wrinkles. How you doing? Oh, I'm good. How you doing holding up being in the house all the time? Well, I go for walks in the woods, and I'm eating a lot of bones. Yeah, me too. Well, not bones, but eating a lot. So, Miss Jamie, are we singing a song today? We are. Actually, we're going to sing a really fun action song. Why do you sing songs and do rhymes every story time? Isn't it just about books? Well, Wrinkles, singing slows down language, which allows for children to build vocabulary and identify that language is made of parts. You know, it's great to sing. We can really sing about anything that we do. Like what, Miss Jamie? Well, you can sing a song about washing your hands. We've been doing a lot of that lately. And you can also sing about digging holes. Oh, I like holes. And you can even sing about the Wiggles. The Wiggles? What's that? Well, let's sing and find out. Yay! Okay. Alrighty. We are going to sing My Thumbs Are Starting to Wiggle. Okay, so we're going to just do mostly the upper body here, but you can do it with every body part. There's really no limits. So it goes like this. My thumbs are starting to wiggle, my thumbs are starting to wiggle, my thumbs are starting to wiggle. And now so are my hands. My hands are starting to wiggle, my hands are starting to wiggle, my hands are starting to wiggle. Oh, and now so are my arms. My arms are starting to wiggle, my arms are starting to wiggle, my arms are starting to wiggle. And now so is my head. My head is starting to wiggle, my head is starting to wiggle, my head is starting to wiggle. Around and around and around until we all sit down. Thanks, guys. Hope you enjoyed story time today, and I will be back this Friday at 1:30 with another book and song arrive. Hope to see you guys then. Bye.
If you have a comment about this program, we'd love to hear it. Email or call us, or send us your feedback through social media.
Hi, I'm Carl Wells, getting ready to record another edition of Carl Wells Point to Point. It's a program where I chat with members of our community, and they talk candidly about their lives and careers, from their earliest dreams to their greatest triumphs. I think